new tier shifts in usage sets for Gen 9 competitive singles for the month November are out. And there are some very massive changes. Alomomola, which was ranked NU in its debut generation Gen 5, now is risen up to the OU tier. However, another Gen 5 Pokémon, Landorus-Therian, which has been at the top of the OU metagame since its release, is barely holding on as of right now. There are many more very interesting tier shifts and usage sets to note. So let's take a look at this month's tier shifts and usage sets. And how is this actually possible? Alright, so we got some new tier shifts for November. We'll be mainly focusing on OU for this video, but shout out to all the lower tiers, especially the drops from U to RU and the drops from NU to PU, PU to CU. Hey, shout out to all those Pokemon. We'll not be talking about those. We're gonna be talking about the rises from OU first, the drops, and after that I'll go over some notable usage stats for both OU and the other metagames that might be interesting. First of all, we got Ceruledge. I just want to quickly note though, it's like storming outside in Holland right now. For my people here that live in the Netherlands, you know what I'm talking about. But it's like a heavy storm outside, so if you do hear some background noise, that would be that. So just to mention that. But Ceruledge, if you didn't know, it gained a massive buff with the DLC. Finally has an actual ghost step for its physical attack stat, Poltergeist. Now, it can finally make use of that ghost typing and that physical attack set with Poltergeist 110, physical move, fills if the target has no health item, which is, you know, it's not great, but the base power of it makes more than up for it. You do have to be wary of some booster energy mons like Iron Valiant and Iron Mod, which are very common. However, luckily for Ceruledge, its natural typing allows it to check these Pokemon offensively, matches very well against specially oriented Iron Valiant, and most Iron Mod sets cannot touch this Pokemon unless they're using Terra Ground with Terra Blast. So yeah, doesn't really have to worry about it anyway. Of course, this means that you cannot use knockoff as much on your team, as that would hinder Ceruledge's damage output, of course. Despite this, it has risen up. Great offensive Pokemon, I mean hyper offensive meta. Ceruledge with weak armor focuses fits right on there. And the fact that it can check other dangerous hyper offensive mons is just another great tool. What I also want to note about Ceruledge is that with Garganacl gone, it now, or I want to say gone, but with Garganacl not being that high up in usage, it's not as easily walled, which means you are not forced to use close combat. I mean, with previously Garganacl could easily wall Ceruledge with just its rock typing and its ability, so you need close combat if you want a shot to break into that. But now you don't really need close combat. You could use close combat over Shadow Sneak if you don't need the extra speed and just want to go for weak armor as your main speed boost. But yeah, that's another thing to mention too. For the next two rises, we have Alomomola and Heatran. So yeah, Alomomola gained some massive buffs in the DLC. First time it's OU, I believe. Gotta give a shout out to Pinkacross though, because Pinkacross reached number 1 with an Alomomola team, gained a lot of traction, a lot of people started using that team, and here we are. Alomomola is now OU. For the buffs it received, you might know, you might not know, but it received Scald, which is of course one of the best moves in the game, having a solid base power, having that 30% chance to burn a target, makes it great for crippling opponents, especially physical attackers, of course. It's also a great wish passer, especially with their generator, because it can use and flip turn. Oh yeah, let me talk about flip turn. Can flip turn. Do I really need to say anything about this? It's a variant of U-turn, so it's a pivoting move. This Pokemon is slow, makes it amazing, and it goes very well with wish and regenerator. You could just, very easily heal up the team. You go for wish, you get attacked, you go for flip turn the next turn, you tank that hit, and you regenerate that health back, and now you risk pass to your teammates safely. It's great. If the boots can avoid hazards, water is of course a great defensive typing too. Yeah, so this is a great defensive water type right now. great Wish Passer, great Pivot. Pinkercross did use a team with Acrobatics for Ogerpon, Wellspring, but this is like the most common stat you would see on most teams. Alomomola is also just a great physical check to a lot of threats, because it can take a physical hit and threaten them with a Scald Burn. So yeah, makes a good blanket check to most of them. Of course, Heatran is just still Heatran, still a great check to special attacks like Dragapult and Golden Go. Flame Body is also a very good ability, allows you to punish those physical attackers that don't expect you to be Flame Body. Especially U-turn users like Libero Cinderace, for example, can very easily punish that with a burn. So I mean, Heatran is still Heatran. I had my doubts of it moving up, because you know, Gliscor can wall it forever, and just a lot of ground types being present in the metagame, especially Great Tusk and Gliscor. But you know, Terra Grass does get rid of that weakness to ground. Still, it's Heatran, we heat back, heater back. We also have 2 drops, Empoleon and Torkoal. Now Empoleon, I think, still has its niche in the OU tier. However, Empoleon just first of all struggles in this very offensive meta. And Empoleon is not that threatening. Yes, its defensive typing is incredible, and it can check and outright wall a lot of the offensive Pokemon in the tier. For example, offensive Iron Valiant. It has a good matchup against Iron Mod. I mean, especially offensive Iron Valiant. I mean, Golden Go has a good matchup against those Pokemon. Dragapult even. But it cannot do a lot back. I mean, the best it can do is Surf. It has knockoff too. But mostly what you would see with Empoleon is that something can very easily switch in. Which means you are forced to flip turn if you don't want them to take back that offensive momentum. Then you're just chipped down, and the next time you come in, you can no longer check one of those Pokemon mentioned earlier. So in a lot of cases, you would are probably forced to roost to keep yourself healthy, which your opponent can very easily take advantage of with a free switch. That's really the problem with Empoleon, and like I said, the offensive meta not really fitted for it. Still though, it will probably be very good in the UU tier. It has been a UU staple for many generations, and I cannot see that changing in this generation, especially with the buffs with Roost and Flipter. And I mean, Torkoal. I swear, like every month, either Pelipper or Torkoal moves up or down. It literally happens every tier shit. But yeah, Torkoal. Sun is not in a great spot right now, especially with Iron Mod is very common. First of all, that Mon outspeeds literally every Pokemon on Sun teams, even if they have a speed boost like Walking Big, for example. And Iron Mod can very easily take advantage of Sun and sweep from there. Sticky Web metagame. Sticky Web is very common, which will really screw over the boost of Photosynthesis Pokemon. And Auroraville, also a common, or not Auroraville, but Snow is a common weather thanks to Auroraville, so it has to compete with that. Now, of course, Torkoal is slower, which means that on lead, the sun will be up before Auroraville, but it doesn't matter. I mean, if Ninetales stays alive or has Snowscape as its move, he will go back up. So yeah, not a great meta for Sun at the moment. Hazard stacking is also very common. Sun is kind of a team structure that does not appreciate hazards on their side. I mean, first of all, Torkoal is weak to hazards. Typically would want another fire type on your team to take advantage of the Sun boost, which is also weak to hazards. Most Pokemon on Sun teams are also very spikes. What do you call it? Spikes susceptible to spikes. So not a great fit for Sun at the moment. Alright, so for usage stats, not a lot has changed. What did change though, Iron Valiant went from third to fourth. Basically switched places with Golden Go. Iron Mod, I think, was 7th on the list. Usage stats, now it's on 5th place. Gliscor, I think, moved up a little bit. We see Roaring Moon, 7th place. Now, of course, it got banned, so no longer a thing. Dragapult, Ogerpon, Wellspring, Cinderace were all in the top 10 in the last usage stats. Nothing surprising. Zamazenta still here, I think it was 12th on the last one, with Clamora being 11th. So basically Clamora and Zamazenta still high up. Rillaboom, 12 in usage, I think it was somewhere around the 20s. Has moving up a lot. Like I said, Unburden, Sneasler with Rillaboom, Grassy Terrain types are very common. Heatran benefits a lot of that. Bombay, still solid 23 spot with that sticky web. Ursaluna Blood Moon, 27th, even though it was banned pretty much at the start of the month, I think, like in the first week. Might be wrong, I can't remember when it got banned exactly, but it was early on in the month, I know that. So seeing that at 27 is still ridiculous. With the Ogerpon, Cornerstone actually rose up a little bit, even though people said it's bad. So yeah, got Cornerstone, Cerulege 35, above Landorus. We see Landorus 37th. From what I have remember, Landorus barely missed the cutoff to you. I think it's like the cutoff is 4.52. I think it was like Landorus was like 4.528. I think that's something like that, 5.3 maybe, but it was very close. I know that. We might see Landorus dropping to the UU tier next month if Gliscor remains unbanned, because if you don't know, it's getting suspect tested right now, Gliscor. If it ends up getting banned, we might see Landorus usage go up, because as of right now, Landorus is just outclassed first of all by Gliscor, and it is walled by Gliscor. Not to mention Great Tusk, it's walled by Great Tusk, and Great Tusk is also just a better ground type overall. Offensively, defensively, same with Gliscor. It's just better than Landorus. There's really no reason to use Landorus. Even Tinglu is there, also better than Landorus. Main thing Landorus does have going for it is a U-turn and Intimidate, but Gliscor also has U-turn if you want to run that. So yeah, little reason to use Landorus in the meta, which is crazy, but still. Also got the usage sets for the lower tiers. Something to note: Heatran was number 2 in UU, and now it's gone, which is a big deal for UU. Tornadus will probably benefit a lot from that. Scizor as well. Alomomola was also number 8 on the usage in UU, also now gone. And of course you got Garchomp and Garganacl number 10, 9 and 10, but I believe both of those are UU BL banned from the tier. So yeah, also another thing. Scridon still number 1, surpassing Miraidon. I think it was also number 1 last month. We got Kyogre number 5, love to see that. Bombay number 8, which is insane. Bombay literally number 8 in the Ubers tier. Solid in OU and even better in Ubers. So those are my thoughts about the latest tier shifts and usage stats. Let me know your thoughts. If you agree, like the video. If you disagree, also like the video, because that helps me out. So thank you. Subscribe if you're new and enjoy these type of videos. That being said, thank you for watching and see you next time.